Hi there. You know what I'm in the mood for is a nice, fresh piece of bread. I can always go for some good bread. I'm a runner. I like carbs. Or you know what else I'm in the mood for? How about some bread crafts? That sounds even better, doesn't it? Now this one, believe it or not, actually really loves bread. So she's probably going to be lurking around trying to grab our craft supplies. She likes crackers, graham crackers. I don't understand it, but she's kind of all about bread. So we'll try and keep it away because we need it for our crafts today. We're talking about how Jesus is the bread of life, how he sustains us and gives us everything that we need, how he gives us our daily bread, and he is our daily bread. So we have two crafts today that are bread related. Well, one of them is variable and could be a multitude of crafts, but we have two special bready crafts for you today. This first one is a reminder that Jesus gives us all that we need, that he is our bread of life. Now, what you're going to need is simply a paper lunch sack, or you could do a basket, you could do a box, you could do a plate, a platter, however you prefer. What we're going to do is we're going to use this lunch bag as our basis to remember, sometimes we feel hungry and bread gives us what we need physically. Well, spiritual hunger is different. You don't feel it in the same way, but we all have a hunger and need something. Jesus fills that need. So we're going to use our bag, and inside of our bag, we're going to put our bread slices or loaves or rolls or whatever you would prefer to do. So you're going to start with some paper, construction paper, or perhaps cardstock in a brown or a tan or an orange or another bready color. Or you can use some paper plates. I happen to have some mini paper plates cut out here. They sort of look like little Ten Commandment tablets. That's kind of ironic. Or you could also use a piece of paper, and you're going to trace some bread slices, however big you'd like, or you could make the whole loaf. And on each one of these, you're going to write a reminder of a way that Jesus gives us what we need. So maybe it's Jesus feeds our spiritual hunger. He is all we need. You might have, I've got a few others prepared here. He gives us what we need. You could do the verse from John. You could do, I am filled with God's love. Jesus is the bread of life. Whole bunch of options here. Then we're going to cut out our lovely bread slice. And there we go. Now on our paper bag, we can decorate this as well. And you can do any number of things. You can just do little pictures. You could say, I feel hungry. You could do some stickers. You could tape your verse to this, put your caption on this. What's for lunch is another good little option. And if you'd like, you can even make a little hanger so you can hang this up somewhere, or you can fold it like a lunch bag. That's entirely up to you. Or you can also do both. We can put a hanger on the back and we can fold it like a lunch bag. Then we're going to put our bread slices in there, and we're going to make hanger. Then we'll put our bread slices inside. And this is a helpful reminder. You can encourage students to hang this up somewhere, or put it on a nightstand, or put it on a kitchen table to remember that when we have spiritual hunger, when we have needs that we can't fulfill with anything else, Jesus is our bread of life, and he takes care of those needs. So there's our craft number 1. Yum, yum, munch, munch. Now craft number 2, we're going to have some fun with bread itself. Now, let me show you a couple of ways that you can use bread to just have fun. You could use bread as sort of a Play-Doh in a sense. This works especially well with like a cheap white bread because you can kind of ball it up and roll it up and mold it and shape it and just have fun making like an interpretive art of bread Play-Doh. Or if you've got dough itself that has not been baked, that's even more fun because you can make that into all sorts of little things. You can make a dough man instead of a snowman. You can mold it into letters. You can roll it and shape it. Maybe even bring in some bread dough, let the kids make shapes, and then bake it. That's especially fun. But you can do that. You can use Sharpies to color on your bread and write the verse or write initials. Or here's our other snacktivity because this one is edible. So you get kind of a 2-for-1 here. You get a craft that's also a snack. Fantastic. We're going to make some painted bread. Some colorful, wonderful, edible painted bread. Now here's how that is going to go. You're going to take some bread. Again, you can use like a white bread, like Wonder Bread, or you can use, this is just kind of a roll, like a baguette. I don't recommend something that's too holy, like challah or something that has a lot of gaps. Ciabatta is not going to work the best just because it's not going to soak in the paint and look as pretty and decorative. But use whatever bread you prefer to use. And then what you'll need is food coloring and something to put the food coloring in. Milk is the best thing here. You can use water, but it won't quite be as vibrant. It won't soak up the color quite as well, and it won't look quite as colorful when you put it onto the bread. So I happen to have some milk that I have put food coloring into already. You can use plant-based or regular dairy milk or even cream, whatever you prefer. But you're going to put just a couple of drops of food coloring into your milk, and it just takes a little bit. I mean, depending on how many kids you're working with. I just put a little bit here into some glasses. You could put it in bowls or silicone baking cups or whatever works. And then you'll just stir up that color. And then use paint brushes, watercolor brush like a thin one or just a regular painting brush like this. And you're going to just stroke the paint right onto that bread. Now you can make designs, you can make polka dots, you can make zigzags or stripes depending on the shape and size of your bread. You can do a couple of little coat layers if you prefer. And just going to soak it right into the bread here. And sort of looks like little moldy spots in a sense. And you can use a variety of color options. So I've got some green here. That'll really make it look moldy. And you can go, if you've got a thick piece like this, you can go all surrounding it. If you've got just a little piece of white bread, of course, you can just go over the top and just have fun with it. And of course, this is just food coloring and milk, so it's entirely safe to eat. It's totally edible. The whole thing is going to be edible. Now, if you're using plain bread, it does work a little bit better almost if you toast it first. That'll really help it to soak up those colors. If you have sort of more of a thick one like this, you don't have to toast it. You don't have to toast the other, but it does help it to kind of be more sturdy and stable. Since this is a thicker bread, I didn't toast it or do anything with it. Also, I don't own a toaster. So there's that. I guess I could have thrown it in a frying pan, but anyways, this kind of bread will soak up the paint just fine. And you can let it dry a bit and let it soak in there, or you can just eat it like this. Now, of course, if you just eat it like this, it might taste kind of like just a weird soggy bread, but it sort of makes it nice if you have it as like a milk toast or milk bread. You can sprinkle some sugar over the top of it to give it a little more flavor, and that milk will help soak the sugar in and be kind of a tasty little treat. Or you can put something else on the top. You can put some sprinkles. You can put some cinnamon. You can eat the toast like right after you paint it while it's nice and warm still. you can let it soak up a little bit and let it kind of like crispy and soak into the bottom of the bread. And some kids might love it, some kids might not care for it so much, but it's a fun way that you can make a snack that you have drawn on and crafted and created. And as long as you use very clean brushes and you separate out your colors and you keep everyone's hands clean and all of that, it's entirely safe and entirely beautiful. And you've got your wonderful, delightful, edible masterpiece. So you can even have kids practice their color wheel by mixing red and blue or red and yellow or blue and yellow to make all of those other different colors. You can have them practice their letters or designs with the paint brushes. There's all sorts of fun options to make this an interactive, creative, crafty way to have something fun to eat as well. Now, there are a lot of great verses that talk about bread in general or how Jesus is the bread of life. So these are hopefully going to give you some ideas of how you can make crafts that connect to those key verses and how you can explore and get more creative with your kids and explain what it does mean that Jesus is the bread of life, that he gives us all that we need. And of course, you're more than welcome to adapt, completely change. There's whatever is going to be best for you and your students. But I do hope that this blesses you and your ministry. We do have new craft videos and children's message videos that come out every week. So please feel free to tune in, like, subscribe, ring that notification button so you'll always be ready for more exciting, fun crafts, because you just never know what God has in store. Well, friends, make some excellent and perhaps edible crafts. Make some disciples. Have a great week. See you next time.